High blood pressure isn't just a salt problem. In many cases, it's actually a nitric oxide or a mineral deficiency problem. So if you're dealing with high blood pressure and you've been told to cut out the sodium, it ignores the fact that your vascular health is more complex than that. And high blood pressure, in many cases, is a result of your blood vessels or your arteries just not being able to relax. Which is why, in this video, we're gonna walk through 7 science-backed nutrients that will help your blood vessels and your arteries relax naturally. And these are the same 7 nutrients that I emphasize with all of my clients that come to me with high blood pressure. We're gonna walk through a compound in watermelon that increases nitric oxide, a mineral that the vast majority of adults are deficient in, and a spicy molecule that is linked to lower heart disease risk. Here's something most people don't think about. If excess sodium was the root cause of high blood pressure, why then are many patients that are admitted to the hospital with cardiovascular complications given IV saline or salt water? It's because your vascular health and your blood pressure involves much more than that. Let's get into the 7 compounds, and we'll start with one of the most powerful. Number 1 is L-Citrulline. And this is one of the most powerful nutrients for blood pressure because it works through something called the nitric oxide pathway. Here's how it works. Citrulline is converted to arginine, and then arginine produces nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the key molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax. You can think of it almost like a biological pressure valve for your arteries. When nitric oxide rises, your blood vessels open and dilate, allowing for better blood flow. And here is the surprising part. Clinical research shows that citrulline supplementation can reduce systolic blood pressure by somewhere between 4 to 7 millimeters of mercury on average. That's actually a similar impact as some of the first-line blood pressure medications. Now, you might be wondering, okay, where can I get citrulline? Well, one of the richest sources is watermelon, and it contains unusually high amounts of citrulline compared to most fruit. And while you want to be mindful of the sugar content, watermelon's roughly 92% water. So when people say that watermelon supports circulation, it's not random. It is feeding your body water and your nitric oxide pathway directly. But here's the most interesting part. Citrulline only works because of the next nutrient in the pathway, L-Arginine. Now, arginine is the raw material that your body uses to produce nitric oxide. You can think of citrulline like the supplier and then arginine like the construction material. When your arginine levels are sufficient, your nitric oxide is typically higher. And as we've covered already, that's what allows your blood vessels to stay flexible and dilate or expand properly. You can find arginine in many protein-rich foods, things like poultry, fish, tofu, beans, even nuts. And arginine is one of the main reasons that getting enough protein in your diet contributes to better vascular function. But the next one is especially important because dilating or expanding your blood vessels is only part of the equation. Your heart still needs enough energy to pump blood throughout your body efficiently. And that's where this next nutrient is critical, and it's Coenzyme Q10, often referred to as CoQ10. Now, your heart beats roughly 100,000 times per day. So obviously that requires an enormous amount of cellular energy. Now that energy comes from these tiny structures in your cells called mitochondria. And your mitochondria rely on coenzyme Q10. It's a really important cofactor and antioxidant that helps you convert the energy that you get from oxygen and food into usable energy or ATP. In simple terms, CoQ10 acts like a spark plug for your heart's engine. So when levels drop, your heart becomes less efficient at producing energy. Multiple studies have shown that supplementing with CoQ10 can reduce systolic blood pressure by 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury in some individuals. That's why CoQ10 is a nutrient a lot of researchers target in their studies on patients with cardiovascular disease. It's highest in certain animal foods like sardines, beef, and organ meats. Now, in addition to energy being an important component of blood pressure, inflammation is another very critical focus area, which brings us to the next nutrient, quercetin, which acts like the artery protector. Inside your arteries is a delicate layer of cells called the endothelium. It's almost like the tubing for your blood vessels. So when the endothelium is healthy, your arteries stay flexible, but when it becomes inflamed, that's when your arteries start to stiffen. Now, obviously, when blood vessels become stiff, they don't flex as much, so your blood pressure rises. Quercetin helps protect this lining. It acts like an antioxidant and it reduces oxidative stress inside the arteries. Now, foods that are loaded in quercetin are foods like berries, red onions, apples, even capers. These are simple foods, but they're very powerful for vascular protection. But the next compound works in a completely different way, and chances are you probably have it in your kitchen already. This nutrient is capsaicin, and it's the compound responsible for the heat that comes with chili peppers. That burning sensation that you get when you eat chili peppers or chili powder, it's actually activating receptors involved in circulation and nitric oxide signaling. And here's something pretty fascinating. Large population studies have found that people that tend to eat spicier foods tend to have lower cardiovascular risk. That's just correlation, but it still raises an eyebrow. But capsaicin also does something most people don't expect. It actually enhances salt perception, meaning foods taste saltier even when less salt is added. So if you're eating spicy foods, chances are you're probably consuming less sodium without even realizing it. Now at this point you might be thinking, that is a lot of nutrients and foods to keep track of. And you're right. The goal here is not perfection. The goal is supporting the systems in your body that regulate blood pressure. And one of the most important systems for that involves electrolyte balance, which leads us to one of the most common deficiencies affecting blood pressure today. For decades, blood pressure advice has focused almost exclusively on sodium, but your blood vessels rely on a balance of electrolytes like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. When that balance breaks down, the vascular signals change. So your arteries end up staying constricted. And one of the most common causes for this is deficiency in magnesium. Magnesium is often referred to as the relaxation mineral. It helps with electrical signaling, it regulates muscle contractions, and those contractions include blood vessels. Here's the key relationship. Calcium helps muscles contract, magnesium helps muscles relax, which means magnesium acts like a natural calcium channel blocker. And the concerning part is, data suggests somewhere between 40 to 60% of adults don't get enough magnesium, which can also lead to a sodium-potassium imbalance. Now, magnesium and potassium-rich foods include things like avocados, leafy greens, certain types of nuts, pumpkin seeds, even certain legumes. Now, we've covered 6 different nutrients and multiple different pathways, but the 7th nutrient impacts every cardiovascular pathway that we've discussed this far. And this one might not be as surprising. It is omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, both of which support cardiovascular health in several ways. They can help reduce triglycerides, improve endothelial function, and lower vascular inflammation. You can think of omega-3s almost like lubrication for your cardiovascular system. They help your arteries stay flexible and responsive, and they also provide building blocks for your brain. The richest sources of omega-3s are in foods like salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, and you can even get them in things like grass-fed beef, eggs, and walnuts. One of the most effective ways to get your omega-3s is just by trying to get 2 servings of fish per week. And the most cost-effective way to do that, and my favorite, sardines and anchovies. Now, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's that instead of thinking about blood pressure as salt versus no salt, I want you to think about it through 3 biological systems. This is what I call the blood pressure support triad. System 1 is nitric oxide production, and that's contributed to with foods like watermelon, leafy greens, and protein that support the pathway that helps your blood vessels relax. System number 2 is inflammation control. And that's supported by nutrients like quercetin, capsaicin, and omega-3s that you can find in foods like berries, leafy greens, fatty fish, red onions, and even chili peppers. Keeping inflammation under control is critical for keeping your arteries flexible. System number 3 is electrolyte balance. And that's where you want to prioritize magnesium and potassium-rich foods. Things like avocados, leafy greens, nuts, and certain seeds and beans. All of these are going to help electrical signaling all throughout your body, which includes your vasculature. Now, if you're still thinking, this is very overwhelming, there's a lot of nutrients here, there's a lot of foods, they're expensive, I'm not sure how to mix them into my lifestyle, supplementation is always an option. I tell clients, fix your diet first, then do supplementation. But if you're interested, I also included a link to one below that has 5 of the 7 nutrients we just covered, and it's the one I most frequently recommend to clients that come to me with high blood pressure. But the bottom line here is that supporting healthy blood pressure is less about restriction and more about restoration of these key systems. Restoring balance, restoring nutrients, lowering inflammation. It's about giving your body the building blocks and the resources that it needs to function at its best. So I really hope this was helpful. If you want more science-backed videos that'll help you improve your health for the long term, please subscribe and support the channel. And if you make these changes and your blood pressure stays stubbornly high, it might be due to some degree of insulin resistance. Many people don't realize that insulin resistance actually contributes to your body clinging on to more salt. So if you feel like that's you, I have another video here that walks you through 6 steps to fix insulin resistance, and that's the one you should watch next. Thank you again for being here. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video.